Welcome back to Vic Acres Wonderland, Road to Stadium, Australia. This is Group G. We are back. As you can, for our YouTube watchers, as you can see, it's just me and Adam today. Matt is on a secret mission. He will be back for the next episode, and we will find out why he is not here on the next episode. Today we're going to be looking at Group G. It's Sweden, South Africa, Italy, and Argentina. But first things first, Adam, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. I'm going to miss Matt to pick me up on my, audio mishaps like confusing, Brazil and USA, like I may have done in a previous podcast episode. But no, glad to another episode. Not hosting this one, so pressure's off of me this time. But hope I can make a valuable contribution nonetheless.
I know you always do. I wouldn't say you wouldn't. So we've got not 8 days to go now.
At time of recording, we should add. By the time the pod goes out, it's probably 7.
It's the 12th now that we're recording. How are we feeling about how are we feeling about it? Is it excited yet?
If I can be sort of brutally honest, as sort of mentioned before we came off air, sort of because I think I've had so much sort of football, like OV, sort of like when you like eat something you like, but you have it so many times, it eventually just loses all taste. And because I've had the women's Euros, and then I've had the football, and then I've had the World Cup during the winter, and then the more football, and the Champions League run, and just so much football. And as the season came to an end, I just did not have any sort of real emotional attachment to this World Cup, which feels quite bad. But having suffered, having to watch the Ashes to compensate for my lack of football, I'm. This is like an oasis in the desert for me. I cannot wait for it to start now, just to save me from watching us lose to Australia. Although we did win at the weekend, well done team. So yes, much looking forward to this, and can't wait for just over a week, and then we kick things off.
No, definitely, I've got to agree with you there. I mean, we got over the line at Aston Villa. I was just, just crawled. End of season, I was like, that whistle went on. I went, thank God for that. I was obviously in Meadow Park, but I was like, okay, right, girls need a rest now. I need a rest. I need to recharge.
We all needed a rest.
I'm kind of sitting here a bit bored, and I'm at that point where the F1 in my household is on so much now. I've now got a favourite person. He started second and he finished second at the weekend, and that is Mr. Lando Norris, which was absolutely superb race. He upset Hamilton, and that's my weekend. But I do miss the football more. It fills the space. It really does. But I miss my football.
I do notice at the weekends when I'm not working the weekends, and I've come home and realised, I'll be watching the football. Oh yeah, there's no football on, and so that's where to default to other sports. The other thing for me was that the Euros last summer were just so magical. I don't feel anything could replicate that emotional roller coaster, especially as it's happening on the other side of the world, and some of the kickoffs are like 2 in the morning.
It's a bit different when you're the host country.
Yes,
it is a bit more. I mean, you see the interviews from Sam Kerr, Steph Catley, Caitlin Ford. We're going to do this for you. And like, that's talking to the home fans, and it's exciting. It really, really is. But we're going to get into our first team in the Group G, and that is Argentina. Adam, what can you tell us about Argentina?
Very interesting team. They've actually been to World Cup quite a few times and haven't really been that successful. So if you were watching the World Cup as far back as 2003, I wasn't, and I think we can probably say neither of you, Lottie. I don't think many of us were.
Hey, this is my first World Cup, and I will always be honest about that. Be nice.
No, I know, but even I wasn't watching women's football back then. I didn't even know it existed. But they actually got to the World Cup and lost every game. Then they were in a group that contained Japan, Canada, and Germany, and lost all games. They were in the next World Cup, 2007, where they again in their group had Germany and Japan, but they also had some small, tiny country called England. You might have heard of them. And again, they lost every game, but they scored against England. A player called Gonzalez, who scored a great free kick, but also scored an own goal. They got and they typically got pasted in these games. So in 2007, they lost 11-0 to Germany, lost 1-0 to Japan, and lost 6-1 to England.
I'm assuming at the time they were a part-time team. Is that right?
Well, this is what we're
All
sort of
new to the footballing world. It's just because
absolutely.
when
I mean,
you think of Argentina, you think of trophies, and Lionel Messi
you think of
and World
Maradona,
Cups.
don't you? Maradona, Messi, those sort of players, and
Exactly.
Argentina wasn't like that. They were. I mean, to put it in perspective, and England were obviously a part-time team most of them by then. Argentina were further back in their progression.
Yeah,
just
of course.
Make a comparison. Now they didn't really qualify for the World Cup. Well, they didn't qualify for the World Cup until the last World Cup, which is 2019. Which, exception of Lottie here, obviously this is your first World Cup, but a lot of people, the rest of us, 2019 was the first World Cup for a lot of us, and so you may remember some of the games. They drew 0-0 with Japan, only lost 1-0 to England,
Wow.
and then one of the games of the tournament. And this is it's an incredible story. What happened? They played Scotland. Scotland needed a win to basically get out the group. Scotland went 3-0 up midway through the second half and were on course to do it. They drew 3-3 with and the equaliser coming, I think, the 95th minute, which was a penalty that was saved by the keeper. And then VAR stepped in and asked it to be retaken because the keeper had stepped off her line, and the resulting penalty was scored, fulfilling the great Scottish tradition of never making out of the group stage of the major tournament. And this was when Scotland were under the tenureship of Shelley Kerr.
I'm gonna assume Jen Beattie and Kim Little were playing.
I don't think Kim was. I think Jen might have been there, but this was a Scottish team loaded with talent. I think Lisa Evans was there, for example, who was an Arsenal player at the time.
Of course.
And Shelley Kerr was the manager, ex-Arsenal manager, who those of us who know a bit about Arsenal's past know what kind of manager she is, and it was again another failure in a major tournament for them. But Argentina, they never made it out of the group, and looking back at their history of having to play Japan in every single group stage. And Germany twice and England twice. I probably think their draw's a bit lucky this time around. Just to clarify, in their group, it's Argentina against Italy, South Africa, and Sweden. So new teams for them to play against, and I think they'll be very hopeful. So just an idea to some of the players I'm looking out for. So that you have one of your own, Lottie, which I won't take from you, but my one is the keeper, Vanina Correa, who's 39 years old. Now, my reason for my pick is I watched England play Argentina again in 2019 as a rematch from the 2007 game, and the keeper was incredible. You'd think this was sort of a time when women's keepers still got a bit of bad stick, in terms of can they play properly? Are they good enough to be a goalkeeper? All that nonsense about smaller goals. Well, their keeper, Correa, was incredible. Kept England out by hook or by crook, saved a Nikita Paris penalty, and it took just a brilliant cross from Beth Mead and a Jodie Taylor tap in the back post to break through. So it was a player of the match performance on Correa, and I'm really excited to see what she does this time around, and will probably be her last World Cup at 39 years of age. I think that is probably closing time for her. Did you have a name at all? You had
for me, it's got to be the female Messi of Argentina, and that's Estefania Benini. She's currently over at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
she's 33 years old. It's her last World Cup, and from what I have seen of her, it's like watching poetry in motion. I really hope she goes out with a few goals to her name, and I think for Argentina, if they win even just one game, that is success for them because it's improvement on previous results. As you've just described, I don't think they'll make it out of the group, but it's a success if they score and they win because it's progress on their previous results. For me.
Well, like I said, the last World Cup, they got 2 points, which is more than they normally get. And for a proud footballing nation like Argentina, you would expect that there to be level of improvement and to hopefully kick on. And maybe they'll get their first World Cup win this time around. I think there are some teams they can definitely get some results against in there. The other team I'm looking out for is Bon Segundo, who actually scored in that 3-3 draw. He's one of their forwards, and hopefully she'll get another goal for Argentina this time around as well.
No, absolutely. The next team I do really want to look at next is, of course, Sweden. But what I am going to do first is I'm going to introduce our good friend Hannah. She did do a fan insider with us for Sweden, so let's find out what she had to say. And welcome back to a very special fan insider. Today we will be looking at Sweden, and joining me today is Hannah. Hannah, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine.
Good. So what are your thoughts on the final 23-player squad going into the World Cup?
I like the squad. It's one of the strongest, but definitely not our strongest because of Hannah Glass. Glass is missing with the RCL, and she plays the important role in our defense. But and also I'm not sure about Caroline Seger because she missed the most games of the season with the injury, is still not fit.
Yeah,
So
do you
it's
think
definitely a risk to take care of us.
Definitely. Do you think this will be her last World Cup though?
Yeah, I think.
Do you think the team's going to make sure she goes out with a bang, so to speak?
Difficult, but I can't say it.
Okay, no worries. What do you think the biggest strengths and weaknesses of the team are?
Our biggest strength is definitely the team spirit. We always fight as team. I think, for example, the game against Belgium at the Euros, was able to see that we never give up until the last second. So we score in the last second, important goal.
No, definitely. Those games are always the best kind of games. What is one of your most memorable games you've seen Sweden play that you will never forget?
Ooh, one of my favorite memories. I have a lot with the team, but the World Cup 2019 was special with the bronze medal at the end because it was important for the team. So I mean, we beat our few opponents, Germany, and when the fight against England, play game of play 3.
No, definitely. Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't really watched the Women's World Cup. So I'm really, really excited. I've only really been watching women's football for the last 2 seasons. Massive Arsenal fan. So very, very, very impressed with Stina Blackstenius at the moment. What have you made of her form at the moment at Arsenal?
I think she found her strength back. Also, the team knows how to play with her. I mean, she played a different role at the beginning of the season with together with this, but now she must play her role more. So the team finds a way to play better with her. Yeah, and I think this is also a point in Sweden that Sweden knows how to play with her because we know her role in our team.
No, definitely. I mean, it's taken her a bit of time to settle down, but I'm absolutely enjoying her. And I think one of my favourite goals from her this season was the one against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. That was one of my favourites this season, for sure.
Really nice goals. Or the header against Munich. Oh, this was nice.
That was nice as well, definitely. I mean, those sort of goals are the ones we never forget as fans, for sure.
She's here to score all important goals.
Yeah, she's definitely that big game player. Do you think she can carry her form over into the internationals for Sweden, into the World Cup?
Definitely.
Oh, that's brilliant. What challenges do you think lie ahead for Sweden in Group G, with Argentina, Italy, and South Africa?
I think South Africa is a team you don't really know, and Argentina, I can't say anything about it. So it's with really difficult games, and I think about Italy, they are a strong team. They can't find a real stretch at the moment, but we are a strong team if you show the players. The most players still in the Italian league, but they are really good. So it will important that we fight until the end with our strongest team. Yeah.
All right, definitely. I think we're all looking to do that. Even my team, which is England. So Lena Hurtig joined Arsenal last season. Well,
Yeah.
last August. She's had her injury issues and she hasn't had the best of settling down time, shall we say? What is your expectation of her this World Cup, and does she start or does she come off the bench?
I think she will be more a super sub for us. If she can stay fit, she will be really important for Sweden. So she is really good with headers. So corners also would be really good if her is sad that she wasn't able to show it at Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I want to see more of her as an Arsenal fan,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping to see more of her playing for Sweden, so I know what to expect when she comes home.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's if she stays as well. So there's a little bit of a question mark over there for me, because with getting all these people coming in, is she going to get the minutes? Is my main question for next season. At this point, I am going to ask you a bit more about Amanda. I can't pronounce her name. I do apologise. I don't want to butcher her name, but what can you tell us about her as a player for Sweden, and what can the Arsenal fans expect next season from her?
As she is a really good defender, so it is a really good sign for us. She will play an important role in our defense, so she do it in Sweden. Yeah. I think Arsenal fans can excited to see her, and I would say watch the Sweden match at the World Cup, and you can show what her strength. Also, is really good with headers, so it's a good replacement for Rafa for the corners. Yeah.
No, that sounds really good. I'm quite really looking forward to that. If there's any players in the current team, who will be the one to watch for this team? Like maybe a new talent or a young star that's coming through. Have you got anybody you recommend anyone can keep an eye on?
I would say our defenders who were called up for the first World Cup, Hanna Lundqvist and Anna Sandberg. So also Johanna Rydin-Kanerud. She wasn't able to show her strength at Chelsea at the moment, but she is a really good player, and I hope she can show it in Sweden because she is really strong. So she will play an important role as a wing in Sweden.
No, definitely. What makes you think that she's going to be really good for Sweden? What do you like about her specifically in the way she plays?
She dribbles really good, and she can hold the ball. So if she run with the ball is on her feet. So it's really not easy to get the ball from her.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of player we all want. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for her for sure. So a penalty shootout lost to Canada in the final of the Olympic tournament in 2021. An extra time loss to Netherlands in 2019 in the semi-finals. A loss to Germany in the 26 Olympic finals, and exits to the semi-finals of the European Championships in 2013 and last summer. Where do you think Sweden will place in this group?
Oh, I don't know. It's
It's a
really,
bit of a tricky one, isn't it?
yeah. I can't know even why we wasn't able to win a title at the moment, because the team is really strong.
Yeah, the thing is, on paper, you look really strong and you can
Yeah,
look like you're going to go far, but will it be in the performances on the pitch?
we perform really good. I can say at the Olympic final 2021, we was a better team. We wasn't able to make our goals, so we consist a penalty. So we go to extra time and to penalty shootouts, and then we wasn't able to win this.
Yeah.
So we was a better team. We had should win this game. And also to the Euro semi against England, we had really good chances at the beginning. And if we score them, it's definitely a different game. And then after the
100%. I was sitting there looking through
I
my
think
fingers like that.
sorry. And I think we woke up in after we conceded the first goal. Nothing works anymore. I think you can see it. The goals was at the end really easy for England to score them a little bit.
No, definitely. I do apologise. Even I was really surprised how easy it was, and it was just, if this is not the Sweden I know, when you've got profile players like Stina Blackstenius and Lena Hurtig and I think Hannah Glass playing? I think so.
I think she was back. I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah, no, I can't quite remember. But and you've got the likes of Fridolina Rolfo as well.
Yeah.
You expect results from them. Speaking of Fridolina, she's been playing at the left back and as wing back at Barcelona this year.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit longer. Do you think she's going to be up front for Sweden, or do you think she's going to be deployed at the back?
She would definitely play up front for Sweden, but if we need her in the defense, she can play well, but she will play more up front role for Sweden as always. We need her up front. I think.
You need her to be scoring goals with Stina.
Yeah. Also, the duo together with Stina is really good. So I think it's better to play with both up front.
Absolutely. I can completely agree with you there. As much as I've quietly been keeping an eye on Barcelona as a neutral fan, I think for me, Rolfo up top is the best way forward for Sweden. Is there any other particular player that you're really looking forward to seeing play for Sweden over this tournament?
I'm looking forward to see Philippa Acherdahl from Manchester City. It's her first World Cup, so I'm looking forward to see her. So Kosovo Aslani, as always, she is one of our best players. So
yeah.
Also, I'm not sure who will play in goal of Jennifer Falk or Musovic. So we don't have a clear number one since Lindahl.
Do you think that will be decided before the 20th of July?
We in the press conference our coach said he isn't sure who will play. Falk has next on Friday his last game before World Cup with Hecken. So we will see who will play in the goal.
Okay, who would you choose though, Hannah?
It's difficult. I would say Falk has more game time because she is Hecken's number one and has 13 or 12 clean sheets at the moment for Hagen on 15 games.
Wow.
So she is really good at the moment, but Muskovic isn't a bad player, I would say. So we will see. I would go with Falk, but we will see.
No, definitely, absolutely. Hannah, thank you for joining me today. Where can everybody find you on Twitter?
My Twitter name is Hannah in the 11, and the first A is a C.
Thank you, Hannah, again, once again, for doing that fun insider with us. But now we're gonna, me and Adam, go a bit of a chat about the biggest team in this group, shall we say? Consistent semi-finalists: 91, 2011, 2019. Their best run in the tournament was in 2003, but they were beaten by a golden goal in added extra time in the final against Germany, and that came from Nia Kunza, unfortunately. But before we go any further, we do have the final 23, and I do want to apologise to any Swedish fans that are now listening, because I am going to butcher some of these names, apart from the Arsenal players, because I should know these by now.
Yeah.
If there are any ex-Arsenal players in here, I'm so sorry. But
Go
for
for it.
goalkeepers, we've got Zekri Musovic,
Muskovic,
Jennifer Falk, Tove Emblom. In defence, we've got Joanna Anderson, Linda Sembrant, Hannah Linkovist, Anna Sandberg, Magdalena Eriksson, Amanda Ild. Adam, I can't pronounce this one. Amanda.
I'm trying to find Ilestead.
Ilestead, thank you.
Arsenal's new centre back.
Yes, I'm still trying to work. Sort that language, my tongue out with that one. Unfortunately, Natalie Bjorn. In midfield, we've got Kosova Aslani, Filippo Angeldal, Caroline Seeger, Joanna, writing Kinrid, Hannah Bennison, Olivia Scull, Ellen Rubenson. I think I've read that down wrong. Rubenson. Yeah. Thank you. And up front, we got Madeline Janogi, Lena Hurtig, Sophia Jakobsen, Stina Blackstenius, Rebecca Blomqvist, and Fredolina Rofo. Is there anybody in there that surprised you? I can actually pick one midfielder out at this point, because she has not had any minutes at all this season.
I mean, the big surprise for me is Lena Hurtig. I don't know if that was your one, because she...
No, mine was Caroline Seeger. She hasn't had any minutes at all.
Okay, right. Well, Lena Hurtig, I mean, just... I'm trying to... What's the best sort of politest way to cover this? I think back to not last season, but the season before, we signed Nikita Paris, and I think we can all agree it just didn't work. We moved her on, and then we thought, okay, and then the summer window we had after that is we bought a sub goalkeeper who became our third choice. We bought a forward who then went on loan to Everton, and we bought Hurtig. So all the chips were sort of on right. Hurtig's the one that's going to be the big push next season, and it did feel like we'd just gone and bought another Paris, in the sense that she just never really sort of settled the club, and then she had a bit of an injury nightmare. I think she got injured against Leicester, and then she was in and out of the team. I saw her obviously the last time we saw her play was at in that Wolfsburg game, and she was. It was not that she couldn't play; it's just she was just not at the level. It was. There's a joke I think about where people like marching, and one person's marching out of time, and someone saying, "Oh look, everyone else is the one marching out of time." It was like she was on different wavelengths. It was like they were saying Alpha and she was going Bravo. But she's in the team, and apparently she's fit. So I really hope that we do see the best of her at the tournament, sort of understand what she can bring to Arsenal, because quite frankly we haven't seen it. Apart from setting up a goal for Stina in the Conti Cup semi-final, which was very much appreciated. So she's the one I'm looking out for. So I say out of curiosity. The one I'm really looking forward to seeing is obviously Stina Blackstenius, who didn't. I think she only got one goal in the Euros, but we know she's better than that, and she had a really strong end to the season. So I hope she can carry that form over. Little fun thing I did notice though, before we move on to your one, is about Amanda Ilestead, and it sort of leans into this. There's been a bit of controversy with FIFA, and some of the journalists arguing about player representation for clubs, because there was a news print that came out that Barca's the most represented team in the tournament, and people say, hang on, Chelsea's got quite a lot of players as well. But there's a bit of controversy over.
I think I was one of those ones that pointed out Arsenal have got 15 as well, but apparently our new signings don't count.
Yeah, so if you look on Wikipedia, it says she plays for PSG. So this is a debate of FIFA choosing the players from the last season rather than where they are now, but rather where they were playing the previous season. So it sort of messes up statistics. But we can assure everyone that she is an Arsenal fan, and we're very looking for Arsenal player, and we're very much looking forward to seeing her play next season.
Oh, I hope she's an Arsenal fan.
Well, we all hope, don't we? We all hope. So who's your player of choice?
Oh, I think the most surprising one for me is obviously Caroline Seeger. Again, I do feel like this is her last World Cup, and she is captain, so yeah. So I do feel like that is her last thing. But I've kind of gone with a bit of a cop out here. I've gone for Magdalena Eriksson. She's been around since 2014, and we all know how she plays from WSL. She's intelligent, and her tactical thinking for the game is just second to none, put it that way. There's enough coaches out there, including the wonderful Emma Hayes at Chelsea, and I mean that with very much sarcasm, that have praised her for it.
She is a legendary defender.
Another one, again, Stina Blackstenius, red hot form, 39 appearances for us this season, 18 goals. I'm sure it was 20, but it seems to be 18. She's going to be really vital to creating those big threats for the opposition to deal with, as long as she can stay on side. I know it's an internal Arsenal joke, but they are changing the rule for offside, which is really quite interesting. I'm waiting to see what else happens with that.
Yeah.
I was reading that and I'm thinking, yes, Stina Blackstenius is going to absolutely love that. But
well, there is an element of that, but all you're doing is moving the line, and you're just moving the point of conflict. And for me, the offside rule is fine as it is. It just needs to be remanaged. Yeah, with technology. If it's automated on that line, I think you take all controversy and VAR issues absolutely all together. And if it's just like a goal line technology system, where you just go, yeah, he's off, oh, she's off, and that's it. Gone.
Yeah, no, completely agree. But I think the one to watch for me is Man City's Philippa Angeldal.
Oh yes.
She's had a very, very strong presence in the midfield up at Man City this season. I really hope she takes that over to Sweden and see what she can do. She debuted in 2018, so she hasn't been around too long for Sweden, if that makes sense. This will be a second or third tournament. I do need to double check that. I'm not sure if she went to the World Cup in 2019, but I know she did to the Euros last year. So
last year.
So what would success be for this team, Alan?
I mean, winning. Sweden are fascinating because like most Scandinavian teams. They are incredibly consistent in the sense that they consistently go far and then just sort of stop. Last World Cup, they got to a semi-final, lost to the Netherlands in extra time, and beat England in the third place playoff, annoyingly. They got to the semi-final in the Euros. We enacted a bit of vengeance on that, which was
England sent them packing. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
I think that was the one. I think that was the one game that scared me. I was like, no, we're not getting past the Swedes. Just not going to happen. And then it just all clicked. It was like, oh my god.
Nah, for me, the Spain. Well, we are going massive tangent, but I've always seen the record. Spain was the scariest game for me at the Euros, just because of how close.
But for me personally, there was no Alexia, so I wasn't that scared.
Sweden has always seen as this.
Spain,
Sweden. I can understand with Sweden though, because they were very. I mean, I watched them in 2019 when we lost 2-1 to them, and it was a ghastly match. And Sweden the England team was spent because of what happened in the USA game, but Sweden were just very disciplined, very talented. I think they do get underestimated a lot because I think one of the problems with Scandinavian teams, from viewers watching on, is that we transplant our perspective on the men's team onto the women's team, and we don't really comprehend that actually Scandinavian women's football is very strong. Very, very, very strong. And Sweden are one of the big ones, along with Norway.
You've only got to look at Brazil and how their managers manage that team. You know that their football is very strong, and I'm quite excited to see what they've got. As their manager was Sweden's manager before until 2017. Yeah, because 2017 was when Peter Gerhardsen, I think I pronounced that probably, came into play. So
my to answer your question, success, I think going deep, I think they could get to a quarter-final. If they got to a semi-final, great. And that would be very Swedish of them. I think they even beat Germany in the last World Cup. I'm pretty sure they beat them 2-1 or something. They've actually beat, which is no easy feat. So I would say they're going to go deep, and I don't think they'll win it because it's the traditional Scandinavian thing. I think only Norway is the only Scandinavian side to actually win the World Cup. So they're semi-finals for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think for me, to keep the consistency to a semi-final is one hell of an achievement.
Yes.
But they're third in the world rankings, and they will be the team to beat in this group. And I know a certain manager, which we will come on to, has said they actually play Sweden first, and has said playing this game first sets the tone for the rest of our games. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see.
We should just add that Sweden did actually get to the final in the Olympics. They also was the Canada on penalties, which was and they actually had a kick to win it. They were in a position to win the Olympics on penalties and did lose it.
Thing is, in the last three, they've never placed lower than third, any major tournament. So
and we talk about consistency of semi-finals. England failed 3 semi-finals in all competitions before winning the Euros, and Sweden are doing something similar. And they always say, I was listening to a podcast earlier today about a different subject, but the idea of being in that sort of regional tournament, the more you stay, eventually you'll get your chance to win it. You just got to make sure around them, and Sweden are always around there. So best of luck to them.
Oh no, definitely. I'm looking. They for me personally, they're going to win this group. That's kind of a given when I look at that. I think where the other three teams are going to place is going to be interesting. Their games are going to be really interesting to watch and see how they do against each other, as well as Sweden. Moving on to our next team, and that is Italy. Adam, what have you got for us on Italy?
Italy, yes. So, bit of an interesting one. This, they're actually in the first. They were in the first ever official. I say official. They were previous women's international tournaments that used to happen sort of during the 80s and stuff. But when they finally made an official World Cup, which is the one held in China in 1991, Italy were there, and they actually got to the quarterfinals where they lost to Norway. Since then, they've sort of been in and around, but never really sort of. They got to the 1999. They got to the World Cup again, as to say, and they didn't win again. No, they won. I think it was they drew one game and drew one game, won one game, lost one game. So they got 4 points, didn't get out of the group. But 2019 was sort of the big thing for them. We mentioned in an earlier pod when we were discussing Australia and Brazil. 2019, they were in a group with Australia, Brazil, and Jamaica, and they topped that group. In fact, because of the way the third place team also gets through, all three of Australia, Brazil, and Italy went through and they all had the same points. But Italy actually topped that group, which was quite an incredible feat when you think back to it, considering they were sort of a bit of an unknown at the time. They got through, they beat Australia 2-1. They did lose to Brazil, but they thrashed Jamaica 5-0. And they beat China in the last 16, but lost to the Netherlands, who, as we know, got to the final. So quarterfinal finish from them, and I think people sort of saw Italy as this sort of new, sort of maybe league coming through, group of players. It was just Italy developing their women's team. They're going to become another force on the international stage. We've seen the rise of Serie A. We've seen the likes of Joe Montemurro go to Juventus, and Juventus had a very good season. Roma obviously did very well in the Champions League this time around. In their game at Rome, they gave Barcelona a very good game. So people thought that Italy was sort of this rising international side that's going to be exciting at major tournaments. Now we all watched Euro 2022, and I think we were all very, 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 very disappointed by Italy. They finished, finished bottom of the group with 1 point in a game in a group featuring I think it was Iceland, Belgium, and France, I believe. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was. And yeah, they only got 1 point, which just baffling. So they were hoping to hopefully a bit better this time around. They certainly have the talent. Just a quick check on you, Lottie. How many Spanish probably going well. How many Italian players in this team don't play for an Italian club?
Oh, I absolutely have no idea, if I'm honest with you. I know very minimal about Italy, and there's only one specific player that I do know about that I do enjoy watching play in Serie A.
Well, it's one, which is Guili Dragoni, who plays for the Barcelona B team in Spain. 16 years old. 16 years old. No caps, no goals. Every other player picked plays in the Italian Serie A, which is exactly. Which is I thought quite interesting. So yes, they'll be hoping to do a bit better this time around. Maybe get out the group again.
Yeah, no. Speaking of Juve, I think my one player to watch is going to be Cristiana Girelli.
Mm-hmm.
She does play for Juventus under Joe. She's 33 years old now. She's been in the Italy team since 2013. She's had 102 appearances and 53 goals. And I quite enjoyed watching her against I've forgotten which game it was. It was in the Euros, but that's when I first picked her up, and I thought I really like the way she plays.
It was either France, Belgium, or Iceland. It was one of those.
Yeah, it was one of those three games. I had the groups in my head, and it's just gone. But yeah, no, I really did enjoy watching her. I did keep an eye on Juventus a little bit this year, but not as much as I'd like. Whether this is her last World Cup or not, I have no idea. But it will be interesting to see what she can do to recover from the Euros performance, for sure.
100%. During the captain should say she actually scored a hat-trick against Jamaica in the last World Cup in that 5-0 win. My picks are Barbara Balancia, who also plays Juventus, 30 goals for her country, 90 caps. Another player who's obviously done well for her country, and also the other striker, Valentina Giacinti for Roma. I went over to Juventus. I went over to Turin, where Juventus played. It was Arsenal had an away Champions League game there, and they were decent. It wasn't a pretty game. It was a 1-1 draw for us, thanks to Miedemar. But they were okay, Juventus team. I mean, we were in a difficult Champions League group. One of us, Juve or Lyon, was going to be the full team, and it was Juventus in the end. But it was close. The thing with Italy is that you can look at the team sheet. I mean, we don't follow Serie A. Obviously, our experience of Italian teams is on most of the international stage. But
it's also a case of Champions League football.
Yeah, that's the window. Yeah, and that's the window we can and we've seen some players play for Juventus, play for Roma, and there's obviously ones playing for like AC Milan and Inter. But yeah, Juve and Roma are the big ones, and they've been doing well in the last Champions League. Not last season before. Juve did very well, pushed Lyon very far. And obviously Roma this time around. So the talent is there.
Definitely. The thing is, both of them played two of the biggest giants in the Champions League for me personally, and they did incredibly well. I mean, even just scoring against Barcelona the way they did is success for them. For me personally, especially when it's the first time round. Like, we struggle to get goals in. Do you know what I mean? We've been in the Women's Champions League for God knows how long. Yes. And for them to come up the first time round and actually score, and it was the second leg, if I remember rightly, and do that, it's incredible.
And they probably should have scored in the first leg and in Rome as well.
Yes, they should have, because I remember sitting there watching it and I ended up screaming my head off during the pod. And then I ended up editing it out. I have still got that edit somewhere. But because this is what happens when interesting games are on. I have to have them on the background.
Absolutely.
Moving on to...
I was going to say, just to close on that one, Italy do have the talent. I would expect them to do that the group. But if they slip up and they have a dodgy Euros, I can see Argentina pipping them.
It's possible. All right, I'm going to move on to our final team, and that is South Africa.
Well, did you want to go through the team sheet first?
Oh, that is a good point. I didn't mention the team sheet. Who have we got for Italy? I'm so sorry.
That's two teams we've forgotten now.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
We'll come back to that later. Anyway, the team sheets. Yes, who we got from the Italy team?
Have you got that in front of you?
Yes, I have. Okay, I've already
Go
said,
for
yeah.
it.
So Italy is Laura Girani, Emma Severeni, Benedetta Orsi, Lucia Di Guglielmo. I'm sorry about that. Elana Linari, Manuela Guglielmiano, Sofia Cantore, Barbara Bonanzi, Valentina Giacinti, Cristiana Girelli, captain, Benedetta Glionna, Rachel Boldi, Elisa Bartoli, Chiara Beccari, and Anna Maria Saturini, Gioli Dragoni, Lisa Bortuan, Ariana Caruso, Martina Lenzini, Giardi Greggi, Valentina Canoia, Francesca Durante, and Cecilia Salve. That's the Italy team. Alerts listeners will have noticed we did miss the Argentina team, so I'll just very quickly give you that now. The goalkeeper we mentioned earlier was Vanini Correa. In defense, then we got Adriana Sachs, Eliana Stabile, Giulietta Cruz, Vanessa Santana, Aldana Cometti, Romina Nunez, Daniela Falfan, Paulina Grimaldia, Dalila Ippolito, Yamila Rodriguez, Lara Esponda, Sofia Brown, Miriam Mayorga, Florencia Bonsegundo, Lorena Benitez, Camila Gomez Ares, Gabriela Chavez, Marina Laroquete, Tiara Cingarella, Erika Lonigro, Estefania Banini, and Abigail Chavez. And that brings us to our final team, which is I was going to lead on South Africa. So Lottie just realised she's on mute. Apologies, listeners. Lottie just discovered she's on mute, and that's why it's gone silent. I do apologise. You're back?
I think so. Can you hear me?
I can now, yes. Now
I
you're
do apologise for all our audio listeners. My audio is not behaving itself today, particularly in particular my touch screen. But yeah, no, our next squad is South Africa, the 2022 Women's AFCON champions, led by Desiree Ellis. First game's against Sweden, and it will set the tone for the rest of the tournament for them, I think. I don't think she's quietly confident about Italy and Argentina, but again, she's looking at Sweden as the real challenge for them. I'm going to start off with the squad. These are the 23 players that I have. So in goal, we've got Andalina Delamani, Kaylin Swart, keep on staying Molites. What is that? Oh, for goodness sake. I do apologise. Modesane. In defence, we've got Karabo, Delamini, Fecal Magma, Libohang, Ramalepe, Tiesto, Macubello, Noko, Matu Bambanini, Mabane, Bongeka Gamede. In midfield, we got Colosa Biana, Reflo Jane, Sibuele, Holweni Linda, Motalo Numvula, Kagole, Robin Mudale. Up front, we've got Gabriela Salgado, Jermaine Siposwe, Noloxo Cezanne, Melinda Kagadite, Wendy Songwe, Hilda Magia, and Thembi Catalana. So again, I do apologise for my pronunciation. I did kick in there. So audio listeners, I do apologise for that awful pronunciation of the South African squad. Exactly.
Yes.
Key players for me at this point is Linda Motalo. She plays for Glasgow City, up in the very top of the UK. She's a midfielder. She's seen the highs and lows of international football already. At 19 years old, she missed her penalty at the Women's AFCON, which then went on to crown Nigeria. But she rectified her mistake 4 years later with a 1-0 win over Zambia. And she took that penalty.
Fair play to her. Good
Yeah.
sport.
Adam, have you got any key players to watch out for?
No.
Okay, no worries. I've got another.
Yeah,
I've got another.
No, I just want to quickly just have a shout out on South Africa. Yeah, that's not going to be the end of it. We mentioned in the pod about Argentina, and they've now done had 3 appearances in the World Cup, and there's sort of signs of sort of improvement as they're progressing. And then we think back to our even earlier pods, we talked about like Haiti and Vietnam, and this is their sort of first World Cup. There definitely is a sense of, if you watch these teams, these teams are coming more often to World Cups, they are getting better. And South Africa, I'm hoping, is going to be another case of that. Their first appearance in the World Cup was last one, 2019. They didn't get a single point. They lost to Spain in their opening game. However, they actually led at half-time 1-0. And it took Spain to about just before the 70th minute to actually get on the board, and they eventually ran out winners. And then sadly they lost to China and then got a bit of a battering from Germany. So hope, now that obviously you say AFCON champions, they've got that winning experience. Hopefully they can manage the tournament a bit better this time around. And again, look at the team. I mean, Sweden's the big hitter.
Yeah.
Italy are underachievers, shall we say. They haven't been fulfilling their potential in the World Cup. I don't know. South Africa might be able to get a scalp. They might be able to get the first win of the World Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if there was I could certainly see them maybe beating Argentina. So I'm again. We say this all the time. These sort of teams we haven't seen much of. I'm intrigued to see how well South Africa do, and I think there might be a surprise in there somewhere. There might be a gem that we haven't seen before. So I'm excited to see South Africa play.
I know, me too. And I'm hoping while Jonas Idevall's up there, he's going to do some shopping across all groups.
He did say he brought his shopping cart with him. So
brilliant. That's what I want to hear. I've got another 4 players for everyone to keep an eye out for. And the first one is Jermaine Seposenwe, highly skilled as a target player, winger, or playmaker. Versatility up front is impeccable. She's played in Spain, the USA, Portugal. She's currently over in Mexico. And Adam, how many seconds did it take her to score the fastest goal in the Mexican leagues? Take a guess.
Okay, I guess I'm going to say, are we talking Shane Long levels of quickness here?
I'm talking seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5.
Oof, close. 9 seconds.
Oh, okay. So my second guess was 10. That is incredible. 9 seconds though is that's pretty impressive. That's the record, is it? The quickest ever?
Yeah,
goal.
in the Mexican league, yeah.
Impressive, very impressive.
So yeah, no, she's currently still over there. So her fitness is going to be fully up and running because their leagues are just started to run. The next one is Refilo Jane. She's played for Canberra in the Australian Women League in 2019. So she's now returned to familiar ground, kind of. Her technical ability is outstanding. She plays with both feet, and the long range goals are definitely in her locker. And another fun fact about her, she's the only player to participate in all their major tournaments. So she's been there from the start since they've qualified.
That's not just the World Cups, is that the African Cups as well?
Yes, it is. All major tournaments. And then we've got their goalkeeper, Andile Delamoni. Again, women's AFCON goalkeeper of the tournament. Her shot-stopping ability is brilliant. It's going to be interesting to see what she does against Sweden. And for last but not least is another midfielder called Noxalo Cezanne. She currently plays over at Rennes. She has consistent and assured performances throughout, even through the women's AFCON. She's currently on 30 caps and 4 goals.
Pretty good.
No, definitely. As you said, maybe a win might be a turning point for them. But I'm going to sneakily back this team to get out and make it to the round of 16.
You are backing South Africa over
Yes.
Italy and Argentina. That's
100%.
I like that call. I like a bold call like that because as much as we want to see the best talent get through, it's always nice when there's an upset, a fumble, and an outsider sneaks into the last 16. I think back to the again men's football comparisons. But I think back to Euro 16 when Iceland got out the group and rather embarrassed us in the knockout round. But that was sort of a team just out of nowhere, just snuck in, and hopefully we get something similar here. That'd be very, very nice.
Yeah, no, I think Desiree Ellis, being a ex-player, has something in her locker that's gonna bring this charge this team on. I mean, they've got a trophy in their back pocket like England do. That should be the motivator to progress. So I'm gonna back them to come second in the group. Adam, what is your group prediction looking like?
I can't look beyond Sweden topping the group. I think we can sort of all agree on that one.
We know this, but it's the other three that I'm curious about.
Yeah, I know it is. I don't know because it could. I think. How bold do I want to be? I think I'm going to go Argentina, but I think it's going to go to the final round of fixtures at the end. And you know when they always get the as it stands table and it keeps changing as the results.
Yes, it's going to be one of them groups.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of them. Unfortunately, I've got the fixtures in front of me, so I don't quite know how it all lines up. But considering that freeway of Argentina, South Africa, and Italy, I think one of those games, however it lines up, will be a playoff to get the second game. Okay. I think this is going to be a group to watch on the final round of fixtures. I think there could be some last minute drama there, which would be very exciting. Yeah,
but that's what we want in a World Cup. It's juicy, it's drama, it's
absolutely.
Dramatic. That's absolutely what we want. Unfortunately, I can't make my five-a-side team because I haven't written down the Italian and the Argentine teams. But Adam, do you have a team for us?
Yes, and you may have noticed we're talking, viewers on YouTube may have noticed me suddenly panicky scribbling down some notes with my head below the screen. That's because I forgot to do my five-a-side team, and then I remembered just as we were talking through South Africa. But I have cobbled something together nonetheless.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly recite our rules. We do want you guys to put it in the comments and let us know your five-a-side. You can have one player from every team in the group, and then your fifth player can be an additional player from any of the teams.
Yeah.
But Adam, what have you got for us?
So I think everyone will know my goalkeeper pick because I mentioned it earlier. Was tempted by Sweden's Musovic, but she plays for Chelsea and some standards do have to be met. So it's going to be Vanina Correa, who I think is going to be a key for them for the Argentina. South Africa, I'm going for Ongeka Gamedi. And then Sweden, I'm going to go for where was she? Amanda Ilestead in defence, obviously. Ex-PSG, now Arsenal defender. Got to back your own. And in midfield, so that's a two-pair defence of Ilestead and Gamede. Then in midfield, I've gone for a bit of Italian flair and gone for Ariana Caruso.
Ooh, good call.
Yeah, exactly. And then leading the line, I could think of no one better than Arsenal's star striker, Stina Blackstenius. And that is my
I would have been really disappointed and you would have been roasted on this podcast if you did not pick Stina. I'd be very disappointed.
I should say, if the argument from Italy with the likes of Girelli, Ducanti, and Bonancia, it was very tempting, but you have to back your own. So I'm backing two Arsenal stars in that team to get us over the line.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I'm quite impressed with that. The thing is, I think the only thing I would change from that is I'd bring Estefania Benini in.
Who'd you take out?
Oof. That's the problem. I don't know.
Well, exactly. I mean,
I don't know, but I'd have her on my bench. It's just.
But Lottie might know. But
just no.
Lottie might not know, but you might. So if you do know better, then leave a comment in the comment section and let us know your five-a-side team, or drop a comment on Twitter. or if you wish to criticise our horrific attempts at pronouncing players' names, please fire away.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think from Group A, we've had a few comments. They were quite funny. So if you want to go and check out Group A and have a giggle, absolutely go for it.
We deserve it.
People find it hilarious because it's their home language and it's not ours. And so
no, it's not ours, but we'll give it a go.
They actually found it funny. So let us know what you think. Adam, where can everybody find you on social media?
If you really want to find me on social media, then you can find me at Adam Salter 4, and that's the same for my Insta as well.
Okay, brilliant. If you want to follow my dulcet tones and my very boring vibe, you can find me at Lottie AWFC on Twitter. It's also the same for my Instagram. But for now, we are going to sign off, and we will be back with Group G, and Adam is back on hosting duties, which means I get another night off. But we will see you very, very soon.
And I've got to do some hard work, so that's going to be fun as well. See you.